day 6 in the factory, and it's my last full day in India. I fly out tomorrow, and I'm trying very hard not to get involved with anything today, because basically the last day is getting all the samples made, and it is just so fascinating to watch. Because I sew at home, it's always intriguing and picking up new skills and finding out all the tricks. And I know Siddharaj, who does all the lingerie, he finds it really off-putting if I'm watching, so I try not to watch him at all. But Arun, who does our clothing, he hasn't said anything yet, so I've been watching him, and I've picked up a few secret tips, and now I'm like sitting on my hands. I can't watch him anymore because it'll get paranoid. But yeah, it is really one of my favourite things, is to watch how things are made and all their tricks. So instead of watching how things are made, I'm going to talk a little bit about the factory and the ISO certification they have, and environmental policies and auditing and all that stuff. Obviously, yeah, I'm here, and I've been here for a week, and I come out for a week a couple times a year. This is my 3rd visit this year, and as you can see, I'm on the factory floor, and I have full range of running around the factory, and I've been visiting for nearly 20 years now. So although people think ISO certificates are very, very important, to me it's more important that I am on the factory floor, there with the workers, and although we don't speak the same language, we swap phones and swap pictures of our kids, and generally take loads of selfies and have fun. And to me that's more important than having an ISO certificate. But anyway, on to ISO certificates. We are ISO certified, and I've got my notes down here, this is why I'm looking down, for 9001, which is a local one. So this is an Indian one, and that's for the quality of the factory, to make sure there's procedures in place and everything's done and all the boxes are ticked. And this is the thing with ISO, it's really about ticking the boxes. It has most good factories, they're doing everything already, but to get certified you just have to tick the boxes, which really anyone can do if they try hard enough. It's what happens when the inspectors go is the big thing. But anyway, it's things like making sure all the procedures are in place, making sure they know how things are made, how the quality and health and safety. I did talk to the owners this time, and they said, yeah, it does turn up useful things, like I know there's a lot of thing about fire safety and what happens if there's a fire, because there have been fires in factories in Bangladesh, and I'd like to point out here that Bangladesh is different to India. Bangladesh is a lot poorer than India is, and it is like comparing like the UK with some Eastern European country which is a lot poorer. So with India, as you can see, we have 2 big open doorways in the main factory, and then we have 2 open doorways further down in the packing area, and then of course we've got the main entrance as well. And these are all unlocked all the time. We don't have air conditioning in the factory. It's nice to have a breeze going through the factory. It never really gets too hot. So this is, yeah, it's open, but the health and safety thing is for what happens if there is a fire, about where to actually congregate, and to make sure people are trained to get everyone out, and things like if someone injures themselves, that there's a procedure in place about where to call the hospital, if they need to call the police, simple things. Because at home we also have health and safety, but we're a really tiny team, whereas here there are like nearly 200 people at some point. So it's very different to having, getting a handful of people out. You need to make sure you got everyone out in a safe and orderly manner. Another thing I'd like to point out is I've been showing this huge factory over the last week, and in fact our part of it is very, very small. We have one little row right on one side which makes lingerie, and then we have a tiny part of a row right on the other side which makes the dresses. So it's not, when I look at this big factory, most of it is being made for the home market, i.e. India, and they also make a lot for the Middle East, but our section of it is very, very small. New for us, I was going to say new for us, but new for this factory is we now have ISO certificate 14001, and again I've got it written down here, which is why I'm looking down. And this is for the environmental management system, which means we now are officially green. And there's been a lot in the press about greenwashing recently, and this is kind of the same, because it is about ticking the boxes, and it means that the factory has been inspected and they are as environmentally friendly as it is possible to be regarding the products they're making and the way they're packing it. So there is still a long way to go. I mean, to me, say this is environmentally friendly, I know you can't see my arm, say this is environmentally friendly, this is how far we've got. And it's the same at home. There is still a huge amount of work to do, but when it comes to ticking the boxes, we've ticked them, so we do have the certificates. Auditing, the factory is audited twice a year. Obviously I'm also here twice a year, and as I said, I've been coming here for nearly 20 years now. I spoke earlier this week about everyone working 7 days this week. In India, you normally factory workers work 6 days a week. Blue collar workers, they're gradually moving over to 5 days, but in factories it's still 6 days a week. And I said that this week they're working 7 days, so they'll get 2 days off next week. And the obvious choice seemed to be is to say, you know, take Saturday and Sunday off. But Monday's actually a small festival, and there's so many different festivals in India, you can't take them all off because you wouldn't be here at all. But the workers said they prefer to take Sunday and Monday off, so they're taking Sunday and Monday off, and it's very negotiable about taking time off. It's not set in stone like you will do this, you will do that. It's like if they want to take Sunday and Monday off, they take Sunday and Monday off. And again, when they worked 7 days last week, not everyone came in on a Sunday. Our few samplers came in and a few others came in, but the people who wanted to come in worked on a Sunday, so they did their 7 days. But you know, people wanted to stay at home, stayed at home, so it is very, very flexible. It was the festival of Dussehra last month, which is, again I'm looking down because I can't remember everything, it was the festival of accounts and prosperity. They worked as normal. Well, the day before the festival they cleaned all their counters and all their machines, so it's kind of a bit of Feng Shui going on, clearing out all the things you don't need. And then the next afternoon they did the prayers and the ceremony for a successful next year. And so they worked as normal in the morning, and the afternoon was all the ceremony and prayers for prosperity for next year. And they got paid for that, so it's not like they had the party in the afternoon and didn't get paid for it. They got paid for the afternoon as usual.
Hi Saubhagya.
None of our workers, my hair's going crazy, none of our workers are on piecemeal, in fact, which means they get paid per piece, which means they're under a lot of pressure to make X amount of pieces to get paid. So none of our workers are on piecemeal, and none of the machinists in this factory, in fact, are on piecemeal. The only people who are on piecemeal, which in this factory, which isn't part of our little group, are the ironers who iron everything when it's packaged. And I was told a couple of years ago that the ironers actually make a hell of a lot of money because they're super skilled and they go super fast. So that's where we are with manufacturing in India, and if you have any questions, please let me know, because I know it is a hot topic, and you know, it's obvious you really need to know as much about where your clothes is made as possible. And for other companies, I mean, I know a lot of companies are open about it, but a lot of companies aren't. And even on the vintage scene, I know companies who are, I was going to say legit, it's not legit, but they do manufacture ethically and pay fair wages, but they don't actually promote that and say, hey guys, if you're watching this, please tell everyone, because there's so many people who don't disclose about their factories, and I think it's becoming more and more important that we really know where things are made. So I guess the next time I see you, I'll be back in the UK and I'll be back at work on Friday. I'm flying back on today's Wednesday, flying back Thursday, back in the office on Friday, and then I have Saturday and Sunday off. So I'll take care and I'll catch up with you soon.